system.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome, welcome, welcome to the season finale of the phenomenon known to mankind as Saturday afternoon main event. If you do not know who I am, whether you are dumb, stupid, blind, or just plain irrelevant, I suggest you go back to school or go into your local library. Get the biggest dictionary you can find, preferably Merriam-Webster, and look me up under the word phenomenal. Ladies and gentlemen, it is I, the Phenomenal One, and here on Same Today, for the season finale, of course, I can never, ever be alone because I am joined by my co-host, my comrade, my brother from another mother and dimension, the one, the only, limousine riding, jet flying, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, son of a gun who is not having a hard time holding his alligators down. So for the last episode of season 7, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, get on your feet. Give me 2 claps and a peace snake.
Woo! Yes, we are here. Deep Voice Dynamo, Phenomenal One. We are here another Saturday. And of course, we couldn't do this show without those 3 tenets of a great Saturday afternoon, as you always mention. Laughs, good times, and all the wrestling news possible. There you go. 3 tenets. Let's go.
Let's go. Exactly right to the Deep Voice Dynamo. We already have a comment for the last episode of the season today. Hot Rod, really? Jesus Christ, I had to lower the gosh damn volume. You're too damn loud for my old man ears. What are we supposed to do with these people today? Can we not be excited? I mean, come on now. It's the last episode. Come on,
yes.
Man.
This is the equivalent of the last day of school for the season. So, yeah.
Exactly, because Peeps gets to take his 1-week hiatus. Don't you think he's happy enough? Man needs hibernation. He's been around for a century. Jeez. No offense, Peeps. Love you, man. But, look.
There we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Same. Of course, if you're watching from Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram Live, wherever you are, we appreciate you guys going ahead and coming in to listen to us here today. If you guys want to keep up with any of the social media news, latest updates, whatever the case may be, all you got to do is follow us on Instagram or Twitter at Saturday Afternoons _main event or on Twitter at Saturday Main. But look, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with today's show. We have a packed thing in store for you guys today. So let's go ahead and start it like this. If you do know what this theme means, it means it's time for one thing and one thing only. Peeps, get ready for the blast. It is time for
Wrestling Crash Course.
Oh,
Damn.
okay.
Crazy turbulence at Peeps House right now, man. It's crazy.
Yes.
But
Yes.
with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for Wrestling Crash Course. First
Yes.
order of news today. Dom Mysterio is a goner.
I don't
boy.
believe it. All of y'all sit there and be quiet. At the end of the day, Dom Mysterio is still the greatest North American heavyweight champion of all time. That's number one. I don't want to talk about Rhea Ripley. I don't want to talk about Liv Morgan. My boy, Dom Mysterio, has done nothing wrong. He is innocent. That's it. That's the bottom line. And that's all I want to talk about.
Well, hello to you too, Triple C.
Oh,
Hey, man.
number one.
Hey,
Hi,
Hey.
Snake.
Hey,
Hi,
you sound like
everybody.
you had something on your chest to get off.
Yes, I did. I just had to
Okay.
get that part
Let me
out.
get this straight. You don't text me the whole week. You don't tell me nothing. You don't call me. But immediately you hear that we're bashing Dominic Mysterio and you come on the air.
Exactly
What's up
right.
with that?
I heard.
I guess
Dom
he's like
Mysterio,
Joe Hendry. If you say his name, he will appear.
shall appear.
and I have
Exactly,
appeared.
right?
That's the bottom line. The end result is this: is that I have nothing to discuss when it comes to Dom Mysterio. All I have to say, honestly, one thing and one thing only. By the way, that thing that you have underneath there, he is not a goner. Okay, he is not. He is the greatest North American heavyweight champion of all time. Damn it! Damn it! That's the bottom line. Damn it!
Where did we go wrong with this?
Like I said, there is nothing to discuss. Bottom line, he's a great champion, a great human being, and he has done nothing wrong.
Hot Rod
That's it.
says, I need to change the channel now. I don't need to be infested by misinformation.
He shut his mouth. What's wrong with the damn listeners? Your listeners sucks.
Oh, good
Son of
grief.
There.
Says it's the wrong. Xavier says, what's up, X? He says, Wesley, am I a joke to you? I love it. Love
It's going to be that kind of show, folks.
So I guess to pack it all off in that statement, peeps, mark it down. I digress.
There you go.
What can you possibly?
That's right.
That is 107 so far.
Well, you know what? He did say he only wanted to be on air for this segment. I'll send you
Yes.
off. Kurt, enjoy yourself. You're
Bye,
currently
everybody.
do your thing. All right, but just to say goodbye the right way, it's still right that Dom Mysterio puts the goner in gonorrhea. Shout out to Max for that one.
Wow.
I'm sorry, I had to.
Wow.
I had to.
I was not expecting that one. Wow.
Great. Okay. Perfect. Back to wrestling.
Yes.
The Motor City Machine Guns is presumably all WWE.
Yes.
Insane, right, peeps? Where do we get? What did it take for us to get here? Because I remember a couple of weeks back, we came on the show and we literally said there's a good chance that they signed with All Elite Wrestling. Now
Yes.
the tide has completely changed with WWE. In the words of the Hurricane, once more, what's up with that?
Yes. It looked like all signs were pointing in that direction. And we have so much as intimated that was something that was going to happen probably within the next month or so after we initially started talking about it. Because the Machine Guns basically, they finished up their commitments with TNA. They both have done everything in that can be done in the company. They both won tag team championships multiple times. They've both been TNA world champions singularly. And then with all of the other things that they've done, they've been originals in TNA, had plenty of feuds against each other as a team, and there was nothing else they were going to do there. They went and did the independents. They basically were cleaning up the independent dates, all of their commitments, And something apparently happened between the chance of them going to AEW and the WWE. I don't know who got in it. I don't know what the discussion was, but it looks like maybe in the eyes of Shelley and Saban, maybe they looked at it and say, you know what? This is kind of our last bag, so to speak, to earn. Maybe that's what they were looking at. And that global push that they're doing, even though AEW is doing globally, going to London and doing pay-per-views there, maybe the outreach that WWE is doing appeals to them more so.
Maybe so. Maybe so. So, peeps, where do we see them in the next coming months, if that's the case? Main roster, just to go ahead and have that cool little run before they go. Start off in NXT, just to go ahead and get the Young Bloods packet, or like, what are we doing here?
I can see them in NXT briefly, but if that's the case, imagine a match between the Motor City Machine Guns and the Rascals to kind of, play around with that in NXT before this kind of like a send off to the main roster. Personally, I would just have the Machine Guns on the main roster and call it a day. Put them on SmackDown, put them on Raw. They're both that good. We know that. But I think for the audience, if that's what they're going to do, they probably introduce them into NXT and gradually move them on.
Definitely so. Definitely so. Well, we'll see what's in store for the Motor City Machine Guns in the next coming months. If this is reigning true and that they are actually signed with WWE, we still do not know yet, of course.
Yes.
The IWC is one messed up community, so you wouldn't know what even if you listen to Dave Meltzer.
Oh, boy.
That's a shoot. I'm sorry.
55 stars.
Talk about seeing vision, right? What type of eyes does he have to go ahead? You know what? I digress. Speaking of vision, the visionary can presumably count to 3. If you haven't been keeping up with wrestling news this past week, there have been reports going around that Seth Rollins, yes, the visionary, the revolutionary, the Monday Night Messiah, the man of many names,
Seth Franklin Rollins. There you go.
It's gonna be effing by the time we move to Netflix in January. But
yeah,
the point. But Seth Rollins is presumably stated and slated to be the special guest referee for CM Punk and Drew McIntyre's presumable upcoming match in 2 weeks in the Cleveland Browns Stadium at SummerSlam.
Wow.
Peeps, if this is the case and Seth Rollins is the special guest referee, what is this whole dynamic story by October with Bad Blood?
I see a lot of, first off, I don't think either one of these guys is going to come out unscathed. Where if this is going to be special referee, is Rollins going to screw Drew over? Is he going to screw Punk over? Or is Punk going to screw any of the participants over? Is it just going to be one big no contest because they're going to beat each other senseless? Who knows? I think the dynamics within the three, the macro feud within the three of those is absolutely intriguing. And how they play it out between now and, say, the end of the year, I think this storyline has legs to get to at least the end of the year, with different permutations of who's going to be the aggressor, who's going to be the one that gets screwed, who's got the incentive to get higher up in the card because of the results of the feud. It's going to be a really good, I'd say, between now and the end of the year, it's going to be a really good ride of how they decide to book these three.
Got you. Well, look, in other news, GCW is no longer hindered. Ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't watch GCW High last night, like a lot of us, I understand. Listen, we had packed schedules late at night, other than watching SmackDown.
Yes.
Raj Desi.
Yes.
Formerly and also known to many as Jinder Mahal made his debut at GCW. Not like we didn't see something like this coming, but I was presuming that AEW would have been the first slot. I guess he still has beef with Tony Khan when it comes to asking who the hell is Hook.
Mm-hmm.
Peeps! Jinder is no longer hindered.
Yes.
Raj is in session. But what is the whole dynamic out of all of this? What do we see for Jinder Mahal?
I like it. It's intriguing. It's different. Jinder going back to his early days before he came to WWE with the Raj Desi, but now he's the Maharaja Raj Desi. I'm telling you right now, I like the dynamic. GCW has always tried to appeal to the hardcore fans, but bringing in top tier talent to kind of appeal to the fact that those guys can actually do a lot of the stuff that GCW is known for. Hardcore, violence, weapons, skirting authority, so to speak. And I think based on the attention that he got while he was in WWE, and then as you just mentioned, I guess you can call it the Twitter war, so to speak, with Tony Khan and some of the comments that were made, I think that it just rose his stock in the eyes of a lot of those fans, and the fan base at GCW is going to really like this. And he can cut promos. He's shown that he's very imposing. Was he 6'5", 260? He has the look, and now he has the attitude. Being in GCW, he's going to have to display that attitude on a weekly basis, and I think it fits. So I'm actually pulling for him and looking forward to what he does going forward. But what a shock.
Exactly, definitely so. But as you said, peeps, we are all pulling for him. Shout out to Raj Desi.
Yes.
But shout out to the guys in the comment section. These guys don't let up. Harad says, 1, 2. It doesn't matter if I count until 3. I love you guys. Oh man,
I can imagine that one.
Calling it here, reminiscent of Brett versus Taker with Shawn as ref. Seth tries to screw Punk, but Cox Drew and reluctantly counts the fall. Ah, jeez.
Yes.
Imagine pulling out old storylines from the Attitude Era just for our sheer entertainment.
And I love it when the fans get historical and bring all of the possible things that could come out of this, and it works. So that's a really good one. I actually like that, and I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. I would not be upset. I
definitely wouldn't. I definitely wouldn't. But shout out to Xavier for that one. Thank you, Lex.
Yes.
From there, we move to the world of AEW. Yeah, I know my mannerisms are kind of insane right now. I know. Just give me some time. Just give me some time.
Yes.
But let's speak on a chance like this. Peeps, unfortunately, I know you've been around for a century, but I don't know if you've, currently been back to the doctor or anything, so I have to take you to Max and Willie's clinic, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, by far, one of the greatest episodes of AEW Dynamite this past week took place. Yes, insane. The phenomenal one, speaking highly of AEW, yes. Guys, I never hated them. I never wanted to see them fail. I want to see them grow. It's just sad that they have a coked up Scarface going ahead and doing the diligence of holding the pen. That's all it is. Yes, I know. Tony Khan, you hearing this? You suck, Moose Manure. Okay, that's all. That's all I'll say. I can't say the actual word.
You're gonna have to tell us how you really feel.
Tell you how I really feel. You want to know how I really
maybe not that far, okay?
Keeps on taking.
In small doses, just small doses.
I got you. But look, still, it was a great episode. I thoroughly enjoyed it. But the fact that this was the first match of the show,
yes,
it kind of killed my hopes. I was like, wait, why is this the first match? Is there a cause for this to be the first match? This should be the main event. Because why did I have to see this? And then it had to be followed up by Chris Jericho and the learning. I digress. Let me not do this. We're talking about Max and Will Ospreay. That's what we're doing. Ladies and gentlemen, for an hour, these two individuals kept me invested. These two individuals put on a slobber knocker of a match, an Iron Man match on top of that. Peeps, in all honesty, another match of the year candidate.
Yes.
And it's insane how many match of the year candidates we already had, and we're not even in August yet.
Yes.
And at least a good fraction of them have come from Will Ospreay. So
Exactly.
it's just that, look, the man's just that damn good. That was a shoot as well. I'm so sorry. But yeah, today we're on a roll, peeps. But look, beside all of that, what did you think of this match?
I thought it was, I'm going to borrow another word. It was phenomenal. See what I did there? There you go. 18 inches away from a kick in the rear end. Just remember that. Got to learn how to be humble. Like the Iron Sheik, to be humble. I'm not going to go any further than that. But here's what I will say.
It is what it is.
The psychology of the match was really good. It started off at the beginning was kind of like, you know, whatever you can do, I can do better. And then it kind of was a stalemate. It kind of picked up again. And then they started to get into that first wrestling set piece. And then I was like, okay, I see where they're going. And it just continued to go on. And then it slowed up and then it sped up again. It's one of the things that MJF has mastered in his young career is the pacing of a match, the psychology of what makes sense, when to reel the fans in, when to get on the fans. The segment that I really got a tickle from was when they went out into the crowd and Will Ospreay grabbed MJF near the fans and the little girl fan chopped MJF in the chest and MJF did the double bird at the little child. I'm like, wow, this is insane. But the only thing that was kind of off to me of the match, if I have to go ahead and pull something out of it, was the figure four spot where Ospreay got put in the figure four. If you notice, he did a great job of selling the leg. But the issue that I had was it seemed like he was put in the figure four with the opposite leg, and that was the leg that he was initially selling, and then went to the other leg for the rest of the match. Other than that, it was, as the match went on, it went to the shoulder injury. And I like that aspect because he kept with that through the rest of the match. And I guess that usurped the ankle injury. Really good. The ending was great. They played with the time. And I'll ask you this. Did you actually believe, based on the fact that they announced that it was a 60-minute time limit, that this match was going to end in a draw?
I presumably thought that. Yes, I definitely did. But the thing for me, peeps, is there's about two things. The one thing that I love so much is that they're really making a case here for Ospreay to soon turn heel. The whole Tiger Driver dilemma.
Yes.
Once more, again, it stopped Ospreay from achieving a win.
Yes. That's the third straight match that two matches he's lost, but one he came back and almost used it, changed his mind and won. So think about that. They have really done a great job in telling that story.
Yes. Not the problem that I have, and it's completely opposite from you. And it's not that it's a bad thing. It's just that when I think psychology, when I think all the other things, it's like, why did it have to end like this? What's the finish?
Yes.
Now, Peeps, just to ask you, because I know you, if there's one thing that I know about Peeps, he's better than Excalibur at naming a bunch of moves. So, Peeps, just off of the top of your head, name some of the impactful moves that Will Ospreay took at the hands of MJF.
Oh, MJF took a pile driver. He gave him a pile driver. He gave him a brain buster. He gave him a fisherman buster that turned into a small package. He did a superplex. He did a bunch of moves that we have railed on that should have probably ended matches. And that's kind of the flavor that AEW has had over the last couple of years, where it's kind of frustrating to see certain moves not finish matches. Even the dive that MJF did on the table, you would have thought, wow, I think he's going to the hospital or the medical facility, you know. And it didn't end. It didn't end there. But what ended the match was the diamond-studded ring.
The dynamite diamond ring.
The dynamite diamond ring ended the match with 4 seconds left on the clock.
That's what ends it. Are you kidding?
Yes.
That's what ends it. A shot to the face.
Yes.
Diamond ring. When this man was, I digress. All in all, it was a great match. That finish kind of rocked me, but still, it couldn't take away from the fact that for literally 59 minutes and 58 seconds, those two put on a match that I definitely will say will go down in AEW history. That's all.
I tell you that, though. The one thing overall, even though the match was great, as I said before, I liked what they did in between when they knew they had to go to the picture-in-picture commercial break. There were spots where they knew that they had to recover. So let the wrestlers catch their breath and recover. And using the timeouts in between to work on Ospreay's shoulder, because at one point it looked like his shoulder popped out of the socket, and they had Doc Samson come in and pop the shoulder back in to see if he can get feeling back in. But here's the other question that I have, and this is just a pet peeve with AEW. Does anybody in this company ever get counted out? I mean, they went into the crowd. It's one thing if somebody goes out of the ring, you get to 7, you get to 8. One wrestler rolls in and rolls back out because you have to reset the count if you're going back in and out. But it seemed like in certain spots of the match, they were outside of the ring for what seemed like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, with no count. The referee's out there, get back in the ring, get back in the ring. Now, we understand that's the stakes of the match. It was a championship match. But at some point, where's the count?
Exactly.
But other than that, tremendous match.
I mean, if there's another pet peeve that we can bring up, let's talk about the ref for a second.
Oh, was it Rick Knox that was the referee of this match?
Was it Knox? I think it was by chance, if I'm not mistaken. You know what? Let's go ahead and do a quick search up then. And yes, it was Rick Knox.
That's what I figured.
No. Bryce Remsburg.
Okay. He's just as bad, if not worse. Yeah.
Just to say this. You get knocked down, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now we've seen refs take V triggers, and we're like, okay, he's out. It's over with. It's done. Okay, let the shenanigans begin. Bryce Remsburg gets shoved to initiate the whole dynamite diamond ring usage, right? He gets shoved, goes into the bottom turnbuckle, gets in a fetal position for the next 3 minutes.
Yes.
You're telling me that how weak do you possibly have to be?
Yeah. It's one thing if he got hit with a Stan Hansen lariat, I could understand that. Anybody would be in the fetal position if you got hit with a lariat from Stan Hansen or from Bradshaw or something like that. That was a shove, a love tap, if you will. But,
ladies and gentlemen, here's all I'll say, just to go ahead and the crash course. And I'm going to go ahead and take a page out of the book of one man called the megastar named LA Knight and try to go ahead and put this in rhyming scheme for you. Bryce Remsburg sucks. He's a selling merchant. That is the true meaning, ladies and gentlemen, of a 40-year-old virgin. Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
There you
Ladies
go.
and gentlemen, that marks the end of Wrestling Crash Course today. If you want to keep up with any of the latest social media news and updates, as I already said, follow us on Instagram at Saturday Afternoons_main event and on Twitter at Saturday Main. And when we come back, we will go ahead and get into our questions and our last topic for today's show, the review for last night's Smackdown. So stay tuned. Do not go anywhere because the second half of Saturday Afternoon's Main Event is coming up next. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to the second half of Saturday afternoon's main event. I, the phenomenal one. Alongside me is my co-host, the Peep Snake. We're here to give you laughs, good times, and all the wrestling news possible. So look, let's go ahead and get into our question portion of the show.
Yes.
Look at it this way. To start it off the funny way, Xavier Martinez says, who's ready for the GOAT Tonga Kabacho Loa to become a tag team champion soon?
Yes. Yes, that.
Camacho, not even Camacho.
Yeah.
Peeps.
That's funny. I like that one. That was good.
Peeps. How do you mess up a low blow?
The low blow turned into an uppercut. That was what it was.
Peeps. Peeps. He uppercutted the man's gooch. What is wrong with you?
I guess he was trying to show everybody where the jewels belong, you know? I've heard of the expression of run the jewels, but that's a little bit ridiculous.
That's a little
yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Funny stuff, man. Funny stuff. But look, first question today comes from Master Shaw 007. He says, greetings, gentlemen. Before I go into my wrestling questions, I would like to send well wishes and a speedy recovery to one of my favorite sports personalities, the one and only Dick Vitale, who is currently battling cancer for, I believe, is the 4th time. Now, on to my questions. One, looking back, was it still a bad idea for TNA to get rid of Scott D'Amore? And 2, has Hulk Hogan gotten himself permanently blackballed from all of wrestling? Peeps, okay, so which one do you want to take?
Okay. The first one is Scott D'Amore, I believe, would definitely help out AEW if he was allowed to run Ring of Honor. I think that's where he would be perfect. He would fit perfectly. He has a really good mind as far as booking. He's very good with talent. And the one thing that he does do from his from how he has been portrayed for a lot of people, those that have worked with him, is that he is somebody that you can really, really respect and like. A lot of wrestlers will basically go to the ends of the earth for this guy. And that's one thing that can help. Also with him and his mind, if he was able to run Ring of Honor, that would get a lot more buzz for Ring of Honor so that they're not just on the Fight Network or on the streaming service. They could try and get this to a point where there's interest in putting them on mainstream television, which is where they belong, I think. They've got such a huge roster, they can use that. As far as question number 2.
Peeps, you want me to take this one?
You go ahead and take that one. Yeah.
Look at it this way. We coming for the gold, sucker. Hulk Hogan, we coming for you. I'm sorry.
It's amazing. He has become so radioactive now, as far as just who he is and what he has done. And now, after him being linked politically on the grand stage of the RNC a couple days ago, I think Tony Khan has always said he would never have Hulk Hogan in AEW based on his racist comments from years ago. The fact that he showed up on the grand stage politically probably would not jive with him or a lot of other wrestling companies for that matter. Who knows?
Tony can't get mad at Hulk for doing that in that sense, because if anything, didn't his dad fund like $1 million to the Trump inauguration? If we're being for real,
I think so.
So
but
it's
like it is what it is.
From the past, if it's about the past, I could get it. But it's like,
yes,
because then why don't you mad at the feeding you all the credit card, buddy? You know, but no, it's like if you're saying if he permanently got himself blackballed, it's hard to say, because at the end of the day, you got to go ahead and sit there and factor in that, you know, sometimes maybe one of these days, you know, WWE has a retro episode again, And then just for the nostalgia effect, you go ahead and you just have when it comes crashing down and it hurts. You know, you have real American blurring through the whole. But it's funny because Peace, we go to WWE shows, and even during like the breaks or whatnot, you know, they'll be doing the interaction with the fans, and then of course you'll have like the whole, they have the Hulk up segment where they pan the camera to each fan, and every fan has to Hulk up, do the whole 9 yards,
Yeah, they're doing a fan fest at the Javits Center on, I believe it's the 15th and the 16th of August, and Hogan is actually going to be there. This is something that is done through Fanatics, and I guess the WWE. They're going to have a lot of WWE wrestlers there for the 2-day expo, whatever they're going to be doing, and Hogan is going to be there. So I don't know if that's going to negatively impact him or not, because let's really be honest, Hogan's name supersedes wrestling, and for a lot of fans that are of an older section of that are still wrestling fans or consider themselves wrestling fans, Hulk Hogan's name is literally a synonym for wrestling. So you've got that.
Yeah, you got a point on that. Well, look, from there, long on Isaiah, he says, Steph Bacher and Julia all in presumably NXT. Bro, Shawn Michaels is about to cook so hard, man. Babes, yeah, we didn't get to go ahead and talk about that. Stephanie Bacher. Jesus, what happened in the last 2 weeks, peeps? Like
she was this close. Remember, she was this close to signing with AEW. And then at the 11th hour, Shawn Michaels talked to her. And I'm guessing she liked what he said about what they could do for her going forward. What do you think was said to her that convinced her to go with WWE? Because WWE went to they did kind of like a house show tour in Mexico over the last weekend, and she showed up at a couple of house shows and brought the house down. Stephanie Bacher, we already know how big a name she is in Mexico. So what do you think was said to her that made her change her mind and say, I'm going with WWE?
So, jokingly, this is all just going to be on the spot, on the money. This is just going to be joking. But, this is what I'm saying happened. Shawn sitting there, casually just like, hey, Steph, I think you're going to be a good addition to NXT. I know you've been saying that you've been wanting to come to the WWE. You had a try in the past. It didn't work out. But you know what? We want to go ahead and have you come in now. She's like, yeah, I've always considered WWE like, my soft place, that's what I grew up with, all this, that, and the third, all that good stuff. And she's like, but I know Tony wants to go ahead and try to offer me the bank. This is what Shawn exactly said. You're not going to get pushed if this is going to be on the back burner and he's the world champion. So if you think for 1 second that because of the money that you're making, you're going to be here, when in all reality, you're going to be where my crap goes to the deepest parts of the sewer, come to us. Just come home. That's what I think happened. Just say. But in all reality, if we're being for real here, peeps, she said that she wanted to go. She said that's where she's wanted to be. Prior to AEW, WWE was all she had. That's all she ever wanted to be at. So in that case, it was said and done. It was just, look, we're going to offer you a contract.
Yes.
That's all she ever wanted.
Yeah.
She didn't care how much it was. She didn't care what it meant. She just wanted to be in WWE. And look at it. Because of a match that she had with Mercedes Moné at Forbidden Door, she now gets the chance to be that women's wrestler because they see how fast-paced she is in the ring. They see that she can go. They see that her moveset is inexplicably amazing. She has a chance to do big things, and they know that. And in that sense, big things in return for them equals what? Money.
Yes.
So you know what? They saw the chance. They took it. Ultimate opportunists. That's all it is, right?
Without question. And capitalism rules the day in the long run. And if she's looking to further her portfolio, and this is like a bucket list notch on her belt that she's been looking for. And a lot of wrestlers in their 20s or in their 30s, they grew up watching WWE. They got into the wrestling business and figured, this is what I want to do. I want to be a WWE superstar on the main roster, highlighting and headlining WrestleMania or the Survivor Series or whatever show. That's what it really probably boiled down to. So, just another chance for another star to get to WWE.
Oh, definitely so. But I mean, listen, Julia and Steph Walker on the same roster. Peeps, listen, get me some lotion, get me some Kleenex. I'm about to go it. Let me stop. But,
you digress.
But next question. Shout out Long Island Isaiah and Master Sean for their previous questions.
Yes.
But next question goes to Tombstone City Adam. He says they gave Biden the chance to get a real sniper, but he said that's not gonna work for me, brother, and chose one from one of his friends at the mental hospital.
Wow. Well, this water is tasty.
It is.
Yes.
Our listeners, sir.
Oh boy.
I didn't think, peeps, a couple of years back, that's what it is. We started when they weren't even that political yet. So now we're in a political fashion. So now the fans feel as if they got to get political. Guys, it's not November yet. Cut us some slack.
Yeah.
Good grief.
I mean, kids haven't even gone back to school yet. So.
I digress. Hot Rod 316 says this. He's like, are we being harsh when we criticize Tony Khan and AEW after all? They do have a few good matches here or there. In addition, people have said social media that one of the reasons WWE is on fire now is because AEW is getting cold. What do you think about that statement? And yes, I'm still hungover now.
Well, sorry about the hangover, but the question is actually pretty good.
True that. So look, when it comes to the harsh statement, once more, I don't think we're being harsh. I think we're trying to be real. Because here's the thing. I'm going to quote Triple H of all people for this. But I remember I was watching this documentary about Randy Orton. And this was after he won the world title or whatnot. Slated to be a big star. Got to take it off of him because the company thought he was kind of like a nuisance. He wasn't taking the maturity aspect and level to be that face of the company. But I heard Triple H say this, and he said that he directed this to Randy. But the words that he used exactly were this. You have all the tools to be so great. But on the flip side, you are so hell-bent on removing yourself from that top position. That is the problem with AEW. I looked at AEW since its inception, and I said to myself, you have Cody Rhodes, Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks on your side. You have a man who is a walking billionaire in the form of his father owning Wembley, Fulham, the Jaguars. So many different key components in what makes a great wrestling company. Starting in 2019 into 2021. Those 2 years, I said to myself, this is going to cause uproar, but I can see death to WWE in the slightest way the minute they signed CM Punk. There was so many great things happening for AEW that I sat there and I said to myself, look, these guys are about to be A1 great. This is great for business. I said that from the jump. This is what we wanted. But then you have EVPs that can't run a target. Just quoting somebody, by the way, guys. Not actually using the term to use the term. But you have EVPs doing dumb stuff. You have Tony Khan not booking to the slightest form that it was in 2019. You implement a rating system, get rid of it, bring it back just not to use it. Start off feuds just for the fun of it. Sign every big star that you can possibly attain in this business. All for it to limit the usage of other stars that you already have in the back of a fully bloated roster that is yearning to be used, yearning to be on a marquee. Guys who are indebted to the business. Peeps, we had this talk a couple of weeks back. It's insane to me how the first couple of weeks of Swerve's title run, this man wasn't getting booked to be looked like the champion. It's so funny that, in fact, I think 2 weeks ago, AEW put out the promo, just the promo photo for the next Dynamite episode. Included every single person that's a possible champion. Yeah, Chris Jericho, FTW World Champion. Mercedes Moné, TBS Champion. TNT Champion, who was it at the time? Jack Perry, right?
Yes.
Yes, they all that. Continental Champion, Will Ospreay. And then in the middle, just Swerve Strickland. No mention that he's AEW World Champion, even though he has the title on his shoulder. Yes, I get that. But everybody else gets a mention except for him? What do you mean?
Even more so, he wasn't even at the top of the discussion on the ad. That's you. I championed that months ago about why they've squandered huge opportunities of marketing their shows and marketing this company the way that they should.
Yes.
As my partner just stated, we're not dumping on AEW just to dump on AEW. AEW has had great matches. They have a solid roster of talent. They have somewhere in there some kind of leadership somewhere. We just don't know what degree is the leadership going from one side to the next. If they have no idea of certain things, they don't have the foresight down the road, because initially what we used to talk about, they used to have nice long-term storytelling as far as what they were doing by bringing in a wrestler that had a feud with somebody in another promotion. And then they would bring that up in their promos and then make that part of why that worked. They don't do that as much. And when they do, it's not as good as it should be. For certain instances, outside of that, MJF comes to mind. He brings all of the tools that you would need for a wrestler within that same time frame and that mindset for it to work. But they've been a lot of the things that have happened to AEW have been unforced errors and a lot of dumb luck and injury. That's really what it is.
Definitely so. Definitely so. But as I said, we're not here to bash them.
No.
We're not here being harsh. To answer your question, Hot Rod, when you talk about the few good matches here or there, the matches are never the problem. The matches are never the problem. If there's one thing that I could possibly say that AEW has completely mastered, that WWE is still on the cusp of going ahead and doing more so often, it's the matches. Because peeps, any other given week, we even get good matches on Collision.
Yeah.
The thing is that people just don't watch. And I wonder why.
Mm-hmm.
People are so getting out of touch with the product that AEW is putting out because of some of the mockeries that are happening outside of the wrestling.
Yes.
The things and the backstage politics. Things like, yo, where the hell is Ricky Starks? Things like,
why does Big Bill need to be teamed with Chris Jericho as if he's some sort of rookie?
Things like, why the hell is Athena still on Ring of Honor when she is a main AEW caliber type of women's wrestler? You see what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. These are the types of things that we're having problems with when it comes to AEW. That's where it's hard to not criticize Tony Khan. It's hard to not criticize AEW for those types of things because you have the ability to make your product 10 times greater, sitting up on a mountain where WWE is at, attaining the type of ratings WWE is attaining right now, if not even greater. But you're messing up at these little intervals where you can attain the chance to be greater. That's our problem. You want to be great? Show it. Not only just through the wrestling, but through the booking, through the roster, through having to go ahead and spend money the right way when it attains to going ahead and doing these things. Not sitting out here, holding back the roster from being great, making your company greater, while you're on social media and whatnot saying, oh, well, guys, I really am trying to go ahead and get that deal with Warner Brothers through. Oh, you know what? Well, our product is on Max already, while it's only in France, but you can't even get it through the US. Why? Because that deal's not even done. Because they're seeing what can be done with AEW. They're seeing that great things can be done, but they're seeing that you can't even do it the right way. What does that say? I digress.
There you go.
Look, Xavier Martinez says this. He's like, I do give credit to Swerve for taking chicken crap in a chicken salad. He's booked like a basic babyface fighting champion and has to do heavy lifting and character work despite uninspired booking.
There you go.
A fan of the business.
And that's the perfect description. But that's a synopsis of what the problem is with AEW right now.
Exactly.
They are their own worst enemy when it comes to a lot of these things. That's why I said it's a lot of it is dumb luck, injuries, but also unforced errors. They're their own. They get in their own way in a lot of instances where it's not necessary to do certain things. Certain things psychology-wise, like why is it that somebody can get out of a pile driver? So certain small things like that. If you saw people doing pile drivers and not kicking out, then you would look at the product as like, whoa, some of the moveset that these guys are doing, they're devastating. And a lot of people within the purview of watching the product would look at it like, wow, they're doing certain moves and nobody's kicking out of those moves. But I look at the WWE and guys like arm, shoulder, that kind of thing. There is a contrast within that. If I did a brain buster off the top rope, you best believe one of two things is supposed to happen. It's either the start of an injury angle or I'm winning the match and you're being knocked out. That's kind of the difference here.
Wrestling, such a concept, right, peeps?
Yes, there you go.
Good.
What a concept.
Good. What a concept. Well, look, ladies and gentlemen, that marks the end of the questions here on Same. If you have any questions, comments, whatever you want to go ahead and feel like responding to us with, all you got to do is send them in on Instagram through our DMs at Saturday afternoons_main event. And in the words of the wrestling god JBL, I guarantee we'll be on the next episode of the show. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into our last topic. Not too long on this topic, of course, because it's only just a review of SmackDown. Peeps, look, Solo Sikoa, man. Good grief. I was speaking to somebody a couple of weeks back, and we're just speaking on the factor of heat that Solo Sikoa is getting.
Mm-hmm.
The bloodline as a whole, I mean, the heat is insane.
Yes.
So look, with it now that every other week now it's pretty much the same table spot to end the show, is there a good chance that come SummerSlam, since we already know that Solo Sikoa versus Cody Rhodes for the WWE title is slated to go on for the show, is SummerSlam marked for the return of the Tribal Chief, the real Tribal Chief, the real head of the table, you know, the one that smashes all? Is Roman Reigns returning at SummerSlam?
All intents and purposes, for all of what we look at, I think a lot of people are thinking and feeling that it's just a matter of time. We're just a couple weeks away. And somehow, some way, a lot of people are thinking, you know what? Roman can come in and cost Solo the match to really get everything over, to see what happens. I would love to see that. I personally don't think he has to be there at SummerSlam. But if you want to throw a monkey wrench in the whole program, this is what you can do. And this will probably go into when we discuss our predictions for SummerSlam at some point.
Definitely.
If you really want to generate heat, why not have Roman, let's say Roman shows up and he does try to get his hands on Solo Sikoa, but he misses somehow and he hits Cody. And he costs Cody the championship at SummerSlam. And you put the belt on Solo, even if it's for a small amount of time. And the reason why I say that as a thought process is, if you're looking at the bloodline right now, and first of all, Solo is not ready to be champion. That goes without saying. But I'm looking at it from the heat aspect. If you put the belt on Solo in this, the bloodline as they are currently constituted, you're looking at a leader trying to show leadership. He is kind of like an emperor with no clothes right now. He's got that tribal chief lay around his neck. But if he's going to really lead this group, I think a lot of people in their eyes are thinking, well, it's not going to mean much if he doesn't have a championship. And knowing that the bloodline storyline is being fleshed out by the way, the WWE, I think, is either already signed or gotten close to signing Hikuleu to their roster. Knowing that you're going to have Solo's bloodline side, you still got Roman, who probably has to convince the Usos that he needs help to get reconciliation for how he treated them when they worked with him. And then whoever else they're going to add to this, you want to add something to make this really, really big, you could throw that in there. There's a monkey wrench in the program.
Okay. X says this. He's like, a championship can be a tool to help the character grow. I see Nate.
Yes.
It's funny because I didn't want to bring that up today. Because anytime we get to talking about Cody Rhodes versus a Samoan for the WWE title, Peeps Nate always has like that 0.5% that he always brings. And the first time that we ever talked about it was before WrestleMania 39, and I told him no shot. And it happened. Since then, I told myself I can't defy the odds and the mutiny that is Peeps Nate. The problem is, since last night, I thought to myself, wow, Solo's a powerhouse. This man might actually take the title off of Cody at SummerSlam. And then I stopped for a second. I said, wait, tell me I didn't just say that. Because there is that good little chance that Solo can become champion. There is that good little chance that Solo can actually win the title at SummerSlam. I wouldn't be mad at it. And it's insane for me to even say that because I'm like, well, what does that do to Cody's reign? I don't want to sound like a Cody crybaby right now. I want to sound like a professional wrestling fan. Solo Sikoa can use that tool as an aspect of saying, look, when Roman does eventually return, to make him even a babyface even more. I got back the title that you lost, and I brought it back to this family. I'm the real tribal chief. You can have him lose it at Bash in Berlin or maybe like, Survivor Series, whatever the next pay-per-view is after that. Bad Blood even. You can do all of that kind of stuff. You can do all that good stuff. If it is for a little minimal amount of time, I wouldn't be mad at it. Solo Sikoa can definitely go ahead and take the title off Cody at SummerSlam if it were.
Yes.
But what I'm thinking is that, look, if Roman is returning at SummerSlam, what I would think to make this even better, you do the Triple H. You do the Triple H segment. And those of you that know what I'm speaking about, hats off to you. Peeps, you remember that? I think it was like a fatal 4-way for the Undisputed Championship on that one episode of Raw where it was like, I think it was Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and like who else? Chris Jericho, I think.
I think so, yeah.
Okay, Peeps, you remember how that whole thing went where Triple H comes back, you think he's about to go ahead and help Rollins, spears the hell out of, pedigree to Roman, eliminates Roman. You're like, okay, he's really on his side. Then out of nowhere, he's about to pick up Kevin Owens to set him up for Seth. The Triple H turns around, pedigree Seth, turns on him, and Kevin Owens wins the Universal title.
Yes.
Roman Reigns comes back in the heap of shenanigans happening at SummerSlam. Ref bump, cool, whatever the case may be. Like, you could say Cody Cutter causes the ref bump. Shenanigans begin. Now, Peeps. Roman's music hits. He comes out. He goes ahead and just starts laying waste to Cody Rhodes. Just starts laying waste to him. Probably takes the mic or whatever. Probably goes into the Solo's face. Kind of like, camera, pans in, but you can hear him. And he's like, I acknowledge you, Solo. I really do, Oos. Hug, whatever. About to pick him up to go ahead and do the spear and the Simone Spike combo. And instead of spearing Cody, he spears Solo. Puts Cody onto Solo. 1, 2, 3. Cody retains, and then you build the story to presumably whatever that is between the bloodline. That is what I was thinking could be the second-hand choice. But as you said, when Peeps brings up Samoans winning the WWE title, you do not count the Peeps Nate out. So look, here's what I'll say. We'll leave that for our predictions. Because, ladies and gentlemen, with this being said, this marks the end for today's episode. And this marks the end of a magnificent season 7.
Yes.
Guys, the last 20 episodes have been magnificent. So much happened within 20 episodes.
Yes.
About what, Peeps? Probably like 30, 40 hours of just straight laughs, good times, and all the wrestling news possible.
Oh, yes.
We've exponentially grown within the last 20 episodes. I mean, hitting 100 subscribers to 150 now, close to 200. I mean, guys, just the outpour, the love, the questions, the viewership, everything that you guys have done has helped us in every way, shape, and form. And I can't tell you guys enough how happy, how joyful, and how thankful I am. And I know that Peeps Nate is, because all in all, you guys make Same what it is right now.
Yes.
And there ain't much that I can possibly say more than just thank you, honestly. But beyond all that, I do have to give a thank you to my co-host right here. Peeps, Deep Voice Dynamo.
Thank you.
A1, brother. A1.
Thank you.
I'm not talking to Sauce either, Peeps, listen, from day one when Peeps came in, what turned into a simple conversation on the phone about professional wrestling stretched into a good 45-minute conversation about wrestling. We were only supposed to just talk for like about 10 minutes. That changed quickly.
Yes.
From that point on, Same went from being on the back burner to being put out into the stratosphere. And we had the Ultimate Warrior add in some rocket fuel, and we shot that sun straight to the moon, And Peeps, I have to say, none of this would be possible without a great co-host. And that is certainly what you want, my friend. So thank you so much, man. But look at it this way. 20 episodes down, 7 seasons down, 100,000 more to go.
Yes.
So, guys, when we come back after next week, we will come back on August 3rd, the day of SummerSlam. Same will be revamped. Same will be rejuvenated. You will see a new logo. You will see new intros. You will see the beginning of something great once more. But not only that, Saturday, August 1st will mark our wrestling pay-per-view premium live event live stream for SummerSlam later in the evening at 7 p.m. on YouTube strictly. Okay, it will be an amazing show. Come through, listen to what we got to say when it comes to commentary, when it comes to the show itself. We will be having our own live reactions, and we want you guys to be there with us to enjoy. So look, it is like that we end this season here on Saturday afternoon's main event. But let's end it on a high note, shall we? It is on this episode of Same that I, the phenomenal one,
and I, the peeps Nate, where we came,
we saw,
and in the words of the great Paul Heyman, we conquered.
Send it home, peeps. We conquered.
Yes. All of those people that have been part of our show, even Mr. 411 himself, Christopher Morton,
Triple C,
who's come through, and
even
all of the people,
even the franchise.
Yes, all of the people that have been part of this show. Thank you for all of the hours, the help that you've given us, being on the air, everything that has happened in this season and even previous seasons, the people that have watched our show. Thank you. It really does our hearts well to see that not only is the show growing, the various channels that we're being shown is growing, and more importantly, you trust us with our opinions to entertain you. So we thank you for that.
Definitely so. So look, guys, with that being said, thank you once more. God bless you all. See you in 2 weeks, August 3rd, 2024. This the phenomenal one. Right next to me is the peeps Nate. And this is for us, by us. This is Saturday afternoon's main event.
Same. I had to get the Triple H one out there.
Good grief. Guys, peace, love, farewell.